Hey, welcome back to Tarmac Attack. Today we're going to be working on these depo headlights from a 2014 Evo X. They are in horrible condition, as you can see. There's a lot of dirt buildup inside, just a lot of debris. Today we're going to be taking these lenses off and just cleaning up the inside really good, cleaning this lens good. And these high beams haven't been working for me. So what we're going to try to do is we're gonna try to shoehorn this light in here. I got these off of Amazon. They were like 50 bucks. They're 5,000 lumens, and we're going to try to put that in place of these high beams right here. Like I said, it almost seemed like they wouldn't function at all. I've replaced the lights in them a couple times. Spent the money on some good ones, just halogen ones, and there was just almost no light put out of there. I think they painted the entire housing red, and just I guess I forgot to mention, before we heat this lens up, we'll be using this heat gun right here, and we'll be heating up the outside where all the glue is. But you're going to want to have to take these screws off right here. There's 4 of them, and they are pretty small, just little screws here. Back those out. Make sure you look all the way around and you get all the screws out, because the last thing you want to do is try to pry this thing open and then crack a lens and end up having to buy a whole new headlight. So we're going to go along the edges like this, probably for a good 15-20 minutes. You want to get some real good heat in here, so you don't crack the lens, and just make it so it really frees up that adhesive really good. Just continue to go around it. Like I said, just want to get some real good heat in there, and then we will pry this lens off and see what we are working with in here. Alright, look at this. We finally pulled this lens off. As you can tell, there's a couple of broken pieces in here. That's for the rain lights. Just kind of pull this glue off and separate it, and you can see there's definitely a bunch of broken pieces in here. We're gonna have to figure out what exactly broke and how we can fix it, and we'll start tearing apart this. That is dirty. Some rust in there. Looks like we got our work cut out for us. Okay, so we're gonna start pulling this cover off in order to access this housing block here. This is your adjustment for your headlight level. You got screws on the back side here that actually adjust the height and the left and right. So you have this one right here, this one up here, and this one that's kind of behind it. Those are also the same screws that's going to unscrew, and we will take this whole piece out. But first we have to get this piece off. There's a couple screws here. There's one up here, one right here. We're going to come down a little bit further. We'll have one right here, and then one back in there. This piece right here will unscrew and pull this off as an assembly. It's just this little piece right here. And then this piece will also come off. We're going to clean this up, clean the inside, see what this housing looks like for my turn signal, clean all this up, and then take this off and see what we have behind it. Okay, so this is with that little kind of lower, I'll call it a bezel that's been taken out, which is right here. We kind of just cleaned it up a little bit. I just used a Windex and a rag. Kind of wiped it down, got that lens good and clear. We're going to leave the headlight, or the turn signal assembly in there. I have no need to take it out, so we're just going to leave it unless parts come up missing and not be able to come back together. But this piece we are going to take out as an assembly. The low beam I am keeping in there. I'm just going to clean up everything on the inside. This high beam I will be taking out, and so I'll be drilling this out. I'm not sure what they used to glue this to it. I'm guessing some kind of epoxy resin. I'll be taking that out. I'll be taking the halos out as they don't work anyway. You can see a couple spots here where actually they start kind of burning through. So we're just going to unclip those. They're held in by little wires, so I'm just going to snip those off, pull them out. I already cut the wires on the back side, and then we'll take this out. Alright, so I took this little fixture out, and I'm already starting to see why my high beams weren't working very well. If you can see the angle of this lens, they're both even and point forward. But you come back here and you can see this is not exactly a straight shot in here. And if you look in there closely, you can see from the front side, it is completely painted in red. There's no way I'll be able to get any kind of actual light put out of there. So this is the piece that we're going to be removing. We got a hole saw. We're going to cut out the front, and then we are going to try to stick this in here, and hopefully it works out pretty good. It won't be aesthetically pleasing, but it should get the job done, and maybe later on down the line I'll build a new bezel for it and kind of make it a little bit better. Okay, so here's the high beam housing. I will be taking this off right here. That was for the demon eyes that were in here. These lights don't work anymore. And this is the projector lens that seems to have just been like epoxied on there. So I took the dremeled it off, and you can see the red. It was kind of done half-ass. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to take a hole saw. I'm going to line it back into this piece here, and I will be cutting a hole saw in there, and that's what I'm going to be using to actually epoxy this light into this housing, and then lining that light up with the actual low beam projector assembly so that I can make sure that it is straight ahead and left and right as close as I can get to the low beam, and then we can adjust this a little bit. Alright, so yesterday I painted this, and I let it set overnight in order to cure and make sure the paint was half decent and dry, at least to touch. We cut the hole here, and I kind of just dremeled it out with the Dremel a little bit just to make sure the size was kind of right. At least big enough in order to be able to fit this light in here. And then I'm going to use the hot glue gun just to kind of put it in place and kind of hold it temporary as I'm able to take it out and kind of put it back in with the hot glue. And then I'm going to mix up some like JB Weld epoxy resin, and I'm going to epoxy resin this in a couple places here and then on the back side once it's aligned with this low beam, and then this whole housing moves together to be able to adjust the alignment of the lenses, or alignment of the lights. And alright, let's get this glued in. Okay, so I hot glued it, and then I epoxy resined it in here. It's kind of just barely in here right now as far as epoxy resin. Put this back piece on here just to make sure that it fits and the epoxy resin doesn't get in the way. It looks kind of shitty right now, but trust the process. It'll cure pretty good, and then we will give it a little paint job before we put it in, kind of clean everything up, make it so it's not as visible, and put it in the car, put the lens on, and once it's all together you really won't see it that well, and it should give me some good down road. I'll be able to see a good distance down the road with these lights as opposed to the other lights that were on here. And as soon as it cures, we will start putting this back in the housing, cleaning the housing up a little bit more. Most of this stuff you won't be able to see because it's got a big cover on it. So we'll put everything back together, test fit on the car, make sure it aligns right, make sure this fits right, and then take it back off, and we will put the lens back on. Okay, so we put the little housing back inside this, and we're putting just some of these pieces back together, and we put the rest of the housing back in. This piece here kind of goes over this whole piece, kind of slides on there like so. This piece slides in here, bam, and then obviously we'll kind of clean that a little bit more, and that's kind of what it's going to look like. And then all we have to do is put the lens on. I got the lens down here somewhere, and we'll put the lens on. It's a little dirty, we'll have to clean that up, and it should definitely be a lot better. Okay, so like at the beginning, I'm going to take this heat gun and I'm going to heat up the glue on the housing, and I'm also going to heat up the glue that is on the lens, get it to a good temperature. I've cleaned out a bunch of the dirt. It should stick pretty good still, and I've done this a couple times on other headlights. I'm going to heat it up, get it nice and hot, just as hot as I did when I took it off. And then I'm going to close it together. I'm going to use these little pieces here to clamp them back together, screw it on, and then I'm going to clamp it with like a ratchet strap and just try to make sure that it's tight. Let it cool down for about 15 minutes, and then we will install it on the car. I guess before I install it on the car, I'll be wiring this into the high beam connector. On this one, it's pretty easy. Black on black, red on yellow, and that'll give you your positive and negative, so the light works. And then I will just connect the low beam in here, put the cap back on, install it onto the car, and we will test how well it works. Okay, I put the lens back on. You see the outside of the lens is kind of dirty, but that light is in there. Doesn't look too bad. I know the lights kind of make it kind of hard to see. Pull it back here, and I have wired this light into the high beam housing. This light is under 50 watts, so it should be good on this. The circuit's a 50 watt circuit. I heat shrink to the wiring, black on black, yellow on red, and it should be good. Still kind of warm. Let it cool off a little bit. Put the cap on. We will install it into the car, and this is the final product. I have done the other one. You can see it a little bit better. I think it looks pretty badass.